So I came across this video on Twitter by Jack Rolao, I might be pronouncing his name wrong, and then I saw that Secular Talk did a segment on this. I'll share Dak asking Andrew Yang a question about how he feels about Julian Assange, and then we will discuss.
Do you support Julian Assange?
Um, I think Julian Assange should stand trial. I am generally pro whistleblower.
Well, first off, Julian Assange is not a whistleblower per se. He is a journalist who has, published so many useful pieces of information, not only about the US government, which the US public has a right to know about, when the government is corrupt or doing shady or messed up things in the name of the United States with US tax dollars and resources. And through Julian Assange and Wikileaks reporting on this, he's done, a great journalistic service, not only for people in the United States, but for people all over the world. And, freedom of the press, freedom of speech is protected by our Constitution.
And pro people that try and call out bad behaviors. But in that particular case, he did end up disclosing some information that really had no useful purpose except.
What exact information is Andrew Yang talking about here? To my knowledge, there hasn't been any evidence of any of the information that WikiLeaks has exposed that's caused any harm to any type of American military personnel or diplomatic personnel anywhere around the world. If that's untrue, please show me some sources that document that. But to my knowledge, none of the things that WikiLeaks has published or released has caused any harm to anybody that in the United States or anybody from the United States that's stationed abroad. So I think that's unfortunately a bit of a lie that Angie Yang is putting out with that take.
Or potential damage to our infrastructure, like the undersea cables location and some other things. So I certainly would not be in favor of I think he should.
So he's not in favor of pardoning Julian Assange for these multiple charges he's facing under the Espionage Act. I believe it's the first time as well that a journalist has been charged under the Espionage Act for publishing material. So it's, a attack on freedom of the press in the United States, and obviously, a direct attack against Julian Assange because he stood up to the American government, the American empire, by what some of the things that WikiLeaks has exposed, and they see it, as a direct threat, not only to the, kind of power of the, I guess, the, American government, but by attacking Assange himself, it sends a chilling message of what would happen to, journalists or newspapers or reporters in the future if they stand up to the, American empire. Will make an example of you. We're going to, have you locked up by Britain and 23 hours in your cell. You get out for 1 hour. His mental and physical health has deteriorated so much, that of Julian Assange, that I believe during his last court appearance he didn't even know where he was. Tulsi's definitely has the correct position. Julian Assange, along with, Edward Snowden, should be pardoned. Neither of them should have been charged with, any crime in the first place. They're both, heroes and public servants of the, highest degree. And, Andrew Yang just definitely has a horrible take, in my opinion, on Julian Assange. He's not a whistleblower. None of the information he released has caused anybody in the United States or abroad, U.S. citizen abroad, any type of harm. He's a journalist who has done the United States public and just the general public in the world a huge service by letting not only people in the U.S. know but people abroad know about the wrongdoings of their government. He exposed messed up things that the U.S. government was doing, not only in the name of the United States, but also us as taxpayers are funding that stuff. And so he definitely should be pardoned. And I just think it's a horrible take by Andrew Yang on Julian Assange, and I hope he kind of changes tune and maybe does a little bit more research on this, because if Julian Assange does end up being extradited from the United Kingdom to the United States for these bogus charges under the Espionage Act, it will have a huge and severely negative impact on journalists, on reporters being able to do investigative reporting and being able to report on the wrongdoing of our government going future, which obviously would have some very, very serious and harmful consequences to us as a as a democracy, to our freedom of speech, to the freedom of press. It would be hugely hugely tragic in that regard. So those are my thoughts on Andrew Yang's take on Julian Assange. I would love to hear yours in the comment sections down below, and let's keep thinking about ways to help Julian Assange, because he is still locked up in that Belmarsh prison in England, and it's not looking too good for him, unfortunately. Peace and much love.